Welcome, everybody. We've got Carrie with Fello, and I'm sure you've been seeing Fello everywhere. And especially now that they added the AI feature, we're going to be talking about how to set up your database correctly, also adding this AI component to it. I think this is the piece that will really bring it all together for you because from the agents I've talked to, high level, middle, and even entry, the biggest challenge is staying on top of it, organized to make sure that I'm reaching out to the right people. And man, this really makes my life so much simpler.
Yeah, for sure. The number one thing we hear from our agent community, whether, like you said, it's a solo agent, a team leader, broker owner, the database is becoming a behemoth, almost a liability, right?
Right?
You've got a database, you should be doing more with it, you can get more out of it, but where do you even start? And we all have CRMs that are static, and we try to do our best to keep up with them. But we know that so much is falling through the cracks. And that's really what any AI tool can help with. But excited to do a little peek under the hood and talk about what Fello's doing on our side of
Yeah.
things. So
Even when
thanks
you
for
think
having me.
about it, like, yeah, thanks for jumping in. It's like, is the CRM supposed to be this difficult to manage? No,
Right?
it's
No,
not. It's crazy.
yeah, it is. And I think, you know, I hear all the time, if you're a solo agent, it's like, I know I have a CRM, I know I should be using it. I got my past clients in there, or I got my SOI in there, but I'm not in there every day, right? So I hear that a lot. Or from my
Yeah.
team leaders, it's I've invested in this great new CRM, and I know there's so many things that we can be doing it with it. But my agents are on the go and they're showing homes and they're at open houses and running around, and it's like pulling teeth to get them to update it, which is okay because I want them to be out and producing anyway, right? And so really for the first time in our industry and in any industry with the introduction of AI tools into CRM, we can start to really solve for those problems, right? And so the CRM
Yes.
isn't taking a back seat anymore, and we can get ahead of it using AI and models to make sure that we do have that personalized messaging going out to everyone in the database.
I agree. I agree. Just wanted to say a quick hi to Tracy in Omaha, Peggy, Pensacola, Denise. Nice to see you. Yeah, Cindy, happy to be here. Plymouth, nice. Cindy, nice. All right. So, where do we go with this when we want to? I've got two questions.
Sure.
One, that agent who just picked up Follow Up Boss, right?
Mhm.
And they want to make sure that they do it right from the beginning, meaning I want to close transactions,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That. And then the agent that's had it for a while and just he or she knows it's a mess,
Yeah.
right? Which is the majority of us, right?
Right. Right.
Where do we start with both of those? And you can go like start with one and then go to the other,
Sure.
just to get clarity for us.
Yeah, sure. So for a solo agent, the number one thing I say to everyone who's getting started, whether you've been doing this for a while or you're just getting started with web, you need to get your database to at least 1,000 contacts. And I say that on stage, I say that everywhere, and everybody kind of looks at me like, whoa, well, where did you get that number? And I'll kind of break it down a little bit. Your database, no matter what, should be at least 1,000 contacts, because that's where
Mhm.
you're really starting to get scale and work the numbers in your favor if your number one goal is to get more transactions, right? And so
Right.
I'm going to flash up my screen here real quick, and just so everybody has a visual on this.
Mhm.
But what we see here at Fello is that, let's see. There we go. What we see here at Fello is no matter who you are, no matter how big your database is, 7% of that database is going to list their home over the next 12 months, and 7% already listed their home over the last 12 months. Okay. So
Okay.
if you can get 1,000 contacts in your database, that means now you've got 70 listings that you're chasing after. Now you're not going to win all
Mhm.
70, right? But that's a
No.
big enough pool that we can start to chip away at and make a difference. So when I talk about the 1,000, well, what does that mean? A lot of agents start when they start with FUB. So let's go back to your first group. You're like, I'm going to start off really clean, and I'm only going to put my bestest contacts in FUB. That's actually going to hurt you, right? So if you're
Mm.
only just putting your past clients and your close SOI, Well, those are the people that you should be kind of winning anyway, right? Now we want to make sure you win them again. But I always challenge everyone to think bigger and get over that 1,000 to start, because this is a numbers game. All right. And so what does that mean? Export your Facebook friends. What do you have on your phone? What lists can you get from some of your partners, whether that's a title that you can upload? Do you have farms that you're working, right? And so the first thing I challenge everyone is scale. All right. And I really firmly believe that's 1,000 to start. Once you got that scale in there, you want to make sure that the data that you have is clean. And you can use a partner like Fello to do that for you. And what I mean by clean is you want contact information, right? Name, email, phone number. But you also want to understand, are they a homeowner or are they a renter? Right? There's really no other option between those two tags. And you want to have one of those on every single one of those contacts. And to get that, you need to know their addresses, right? So if you might be missing phone numbers on some, you might be missing emails on some, you might be missing home addresses on others. So that first step after you got your contacts uploaded in FUB is to clean up, or what we call here at Fello, enrich the data. Fill in the gaps. And there are AI tools, again, Fello does this to help you with that, because without that basic starting point, how are you going to personalize messaging, right? If you don't know about who they are and what their current,
you're not, and then it gets lost.
It gets lost. All of the shiny AI tools out there, none of them are going to work if you don't have the data to start. I always say that the data is the foundation that AI is going to be built off of. The AI is only as good as the data that you put in and feed it, right? And that's true of any AI tool, right? So if before investing in something that's going to automate your messaging, automate your outreach, respond to inbounds, right? Make sure that the data that it's pulling from is really clean and accurate. And again, we can talk a little bit about how Fello does that today.
Yeah. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see the back end of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the two groups that you mentioned, whether, you're just getting started with FUB, you're a solo agent, that's number one, right? Get your 1,000 contacts, get the information, get that into FUB. If you've been in the game for a while and you got a really messy database, that's okay, right? Like let's clean that up together, fill in the missing pieces. And what you might have thought was messy or trash might actually turn out to be some gold in there once you enrich the data.
So I have a question about that. With growing the data, what have you seen has been the best or fastest way to grow a data for those newer agents or agents that are still struggling?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple things that are free that you can do. So the first thing I recommend everyone, on your own Facebook, you can actually go into your Facebook account and export all of the emails of your friends. So easy, like everybody can go do that tonight, right? So just, if you don't know how to do that, just Google, how can I export the email addresses of my Facebook friends? And it'll walk you through. It's pretty simple. That is super, super easy. And you'll get name and email, and sometimes you can get some other contact information about your Facebook friends there. So super easy way to do that. Another way is to go to your title partner, for example, and see if they have a list that they would share. And then, I've got, agents doing all the paid sources as well, whether they're looking towards the portals or they're running Google ads. But start with the free, right? Like start with the low hanging fruit of like export the Facebook friends, go to a title partner or any other local groups that you're in from a directory standpoint that you can export and get into your CRM. And then the last piece I always say is anything that you are doing. I have so many agents who are so, for example, active on social media, making posts. Make sure that every post, everything that you are doing from an organic standpoint has lead capture attached to it, right? So make sure that everything is directing to a landing page or where someone could interact with and enter their own contact information if they have questions.
What do you recommend as a landing page for like the profile?
Absolutely. So we've got one here at Fello that we always lead with is home value, right? Interested in what your home is worth. If you're putting a coming soon listing, right? Interested in this, what your home would be worth before making a move, click here, right? that is like everyone's interested, right, in what their home value would be. So that's a
Yep.
really great tool to use to get folks to opt in and give you their contact information from your social
Hmm.
media.
You gave me some ideas. Okay, so number one on that, you could also give away if anybody, and I think a lot of people have Keeping Current Matters, so
Yeah.
KCM. They have a quarterly guide, homeowner or buyer guide, that you could just duplicate because they have you download it. So
Mhm.
that's one or two that you can put in. And then the other piece is, I love your idea on socials. I've totally forgot that you could go to LinkedIn. If you have Sales Navigator, you can just extract everybody.
Yep.
So I'm like, dude, in some cases it's thousands for people. And the other one is you could also extract from your Google, from your Gmail. You could just have
Yep.
all the contacts extracted and put in. So you gave
Exactly.
me some ideas there. I was like, oh, it's
That's
easier
the
than
homework.
I
Yeah,
originally thought.
that's the homework for everybody tonight. Like, have you exported or squeezed the juice out of everything that you have at your fingertips,
The answer
right?
is no, we
The
haven't.
answer is no, right? Everybody's answer is no. That's totally fine. I hear that all day, every day. Like, so if you don't have 1,000, you definitely need to get going on that tonight. But even if you are over 1,000, you might have 5 to 10,000 contacts that you could get into your database that you didn't even think of, right? And so,
True.
absolutely get those in there.
All
That's
right.
number one.
So that's a good start. Now, how do we transition and say, okay, established agent, maybe team, and it's a mess?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you get those a lot. It's a mess. Where do we start?
Yeah. Is it okay if I share my screen again? I'm just going to
Yeah.
go to the back end of
Okay.
a Fello account so you can see what this starts to look like. So 100%, right? You're an established agent, you're a team leader, and your follow-up boss looks like a plate of spaghetti.
Dude,
Right?
it really does. Okay, I've seen it. It's not a joke.
So this is what the steps here at Fello look like to help you clean that up a little bit. If you've got follow-up boss, we've got a native integration with FUB. So super easy, just click a button, all this comes over, cleans up and pushes back. We've got that same integration with many other CRMs, but its most simple form here at Fello, you can enter something manually or just import a list, right? Okay, so that's step number one. We get your contacts into
Okay.
Fello. When we do that, we start by validating your emails for you. So that's the first thing that you want to kick out. All of the no name at noname.com, Mickey Mouse at MickeyMouse.com. If you've been running like a lot of ads to your IDX feeds, you tend to get a lot of that junk,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
that's step number one. Like, let's just get all the invalid stuff out there. We can do that in a matter of seconds. Then the next piece that we're going to do is if you have that valid email address for someone, we can do what we call our enrichment. All we need is a valid home address, our valid email address. And what we will do is we will bring in their current home address. Okay. So let's just pause there for a second. Take a step back. I said, when you got to get to 1,000 contacts, you want to get their contact information and you want to know if they're a homeowner or a renter, right? So we just checked off all of those boxes on your first day with Fello. You got all of your exports of your socials. You got it in FUB. You can bring it over into Fello, and based on their email address, we're going to bring in and show you their home address. Okay. Now, in this example, we've got Rosanna here. We brought in that her current home address is 2181 Delaware. We actually run that against public records and validate that for you. So you can see, yep, this is the contact information that you have. Here's the owner in public records. We have a high confidence that she is the owner of this property.
Nice.
The AI piece of Fello that is like mind blowing, that is life changing for any database, is this happens instantaneously for any address that you put into Fello. Okay, so if you add an address manually, if you upload a farm, if you bring over your database from FUB, immediately all of this information that might have taken you 30 minutes, an hour to go get one piece at a time from other sources, immediately come in and display. Okay, so what does that look like? All of the property details, who last sold that property. You can go see all of the history. public records, MLS, all of this is right here at your fingertips. We've got the home values, right? So Quantarium, Atom, CoreLogic, agents can put in their own home value, what those trends look like. Love this. We've also got the mortgage on the property. What is their equity? What's
Wow.
their balance? What is the interest rate? If they were to refinance, what would that look like? Not very, not a great financial decision for this
Yeah,
person.
no.
Got a great
Yeah,
low
no.
rate, right? Recent sales in the neighborhood. Again, any address, any contact that you have using Fello, an AI tool like Fello, immediately you have this set.
Where does it pull the recent sales from?
Recent sales are going to be coming in from the MLS. So this is national data that Fello has access to, MLS, public record, and national mortgage data that we're funneling in. So we've got about, I say, 98 to 99% coverage nationwide.
Mm.
If you're in some of those zip codes that are dark, you know that you're in a zip code like that that's dark. You're having that problem with any data provider. But this is all, you don't have to hook up your own IDX or your own MLS fee. This is all
It's all
data
done.
that Fello is bringing in for you.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. So take a step back for a second, right? So imagine like you had this contact, you exported it from Facebook, right? You had their name and you had their email. That's all you had. You add that into your database and you attach Fello, and now you know where they currently live, how long they've been in the home, who was their last agent, what is the
Mhm.
value of that property, what is their estimated equity, what is their interest rate, right? What is the balance on that loan, right? This is all data that we can then push back into your CRM. So I hear from my agents all the time, oh my gosh, I can barely use my CRM and now I'm adding all these plugins and I don't have it all integrated correctly. And it's, an operational nightmare to get set up. We've really tried to solve that here at Fello we know that the CRM that's going to be your source of truth. That's your nucleus. If you can barely get one thing going today, like at least let's get the CRM going. So we can push all of this into your CRM as tags, notes, in FUB, there's a native app that lives right there. So you don't have to be going between Fello and then your CRM. You can have it all right there in front of you in your CRM, which is huge, right? Now that you've got all of this data on every property, the goal now it's like in terms of using the AI on top of that is we're now able to start segmenting the database. Okay. So I've got an example database up here, very, very large. This is a massive team up in Cleveland, Ohio. They've got over 85,000 contacts in the database. Okay.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Very overwhelming in terms of where do you even get started? What automations do you run? What segmentation, et cetera. So what Fello allows you to do is start to use all of that data on every contact and start to narrow it down and create what we call segments. So this segment that they have is called 20 years plus ownership, right? And what we do is you're able to start filtering on like that data that we showed you earlier. So last sale date is more than 20 years ago. It's in their state, and they're not currently on the market, right? Now we've got 6,412 contacts that are in their market that have been in their home for more than 20 years and that are not currently listed. What should we do with that, right? I'm thinking downsizing campaign, right?
Yeah.
Let's add a few other filters on there. We want to see above a certain square footage, above a certain AVM, right? And then now we've got a bucket that we can market to about, their next chapter, downsizing, et cetera, right? Easy, low hanging fruit. In terms of if you're going to invest in some marketing, you want to turn on some AI automations, you or someone on your team or an ISA is going to start making calls, right? Easy to start to understand who those folks are and start to target them.
I love that. All right, some questions before we continue. Do you integrate with Real Geeks?
Yes, we do.
Perfect. Other question. I put in Melissa, I'm not sure, just Google that one on Facebook, but I did put in a link to how to extract Google contacts. I just created that on Gemini and it told me how to do it, but I put it in there for you. And then the other one, can we send out mass emails from Fello? Does it do it automatically?
Yes. Yeah. So love the question. Whoever asked that, you're taking me right into step 2. So step 1 is you get the contacts in there. We get the data on all of them. We build some segments. The next thing that we do is we turn on automations. Okay. And automations are mass email campaigns that go out to specific segments and are personalized one-to-one. So this is where the magic of the AI starts to come in. You don't have to build out all of these in templates or automations or worry about reaching out to every single person in the database. We've got all of that pre-built for you. So the right emails are going to the right people at the right time. So for example, we wouldn't want to talk about, interest rates or refinancing to somebody who has a 3% interest rate. That doesn't position us as an expert, right? Because that's a tone deaf message to be sending to that person. So Fello can understand what is their interest rate. And if they have above a certain amount, right, we can talk about refinancing. We also have the ability to see if they've recently expired on the MLS with another agent, right? And so once someone expires with another agent, we can immediately get them into some mass email campaigns from you about how you can help them successfully sell their home. So I'm going to show you what this looks like live, some real examples.
Oh, cool.
Great thing about Fello is we are fully white labeled. Okay. When we're sending mass AI email automations on your behalf, it all looks like you. It's your brand, your colors, your logos, your headshots. We can version this for every agent on your team if you've got a team. So if they own the contact in the CRM, then the emails come from them. If you have company leads, we can send it from the company. Very, very strategic and targeted on how these go out. So I'll just show you a couple of examples. Again, fully white labeled, your branding, and the messaging that's going to display here is all AI driven based on that data per contact, right? And so the most relevant messaging to them based on how long they've been in their home, based on their home value, based on their interest rate, etc., is going to display to them. And the goal is obviously getting them to open and then click, right? And so you'll see all of our emails as I'm going through these different options are relatively short and sweet, value add. A lot of them are leaning in with that home value messaging and inserting their home address right into the email. We found that when we're mentioning something of value about their property, the open and then the click-through rate skyrockets, right? So again, Fello allows you to do that in mass. When someone clicks into the email, right, we're going to have them confirm, yep, that's my home, that's my property, right? We're going to alert you that they did that. So the second that I say, yep, that's me, you get an email alert. And then they land on a personalized dashboard and here's an example of what that can look like. And I picked this one because I wanted to show all of it's totally editable. I'm also squeezing in my screen so you can see what it looks like on mobile. Most folks are clicking on their personal emails on their phone. So it's super important to have a nice mobile experience. This agent, for example, has bilingual. So again, wanted to show you that show you that all of the copy here, we've got pre-canned, ready to go messaging for you, but you can change it however you'd like. And so in this case, we're showing, an value range here. They can click in if they're interested in selling their home. This team also partners with a HomeWord, so we can request a HomeWord offer right there. We can show ranges. We can show, have them contact their agent. Everything that's on here, this is clickable, so that anything that they click or interact with is going to alert you as the agent. So going back to the question, can Fello do the mass email? Yes, we can do mass email, but it's not just spray and pray, right? It's individual one-to-one about their home with messaging that's going to get them to click. We alert you when they are engaging. And then the most important thing about any type of email campaign that you do is to make sure that you've got a really sticky landing place. Okay. Once they open and click that email, what action are you hoping for to start a conversation? Right. And that's really where we use our dashboards here that are personalized for every homeowner, where it's like their own almost like Zillow page, but it's your page that they're looking at with the information that you want them to see. Right. And you can get videos on here. You mentioned the Keeping Current Matters guides, like you can throw that on here. Right. The goal is to get them to start a conversation with you, right? So you're not just chasing down who opened or clicked your email. You're trying to get them to raise their hand to you. So again, these are all ways that you can use AI once you have that foundation of the right data for every one of your contacts to keep them nurtured and to try to create opportunities out of your own database. Because going back to where we started in the beginning, we know 7% of them are going to list. We've got millions of contacts in Fello, and that number rings true for every agent that we work with. And it's just about how do we find who that next 7% is so that we can increase the transactions for you next year.
That is the key. Some more questions.
Sure.
How accurate have you found the home estimate to be?
Yeah. So the great thing about Fello is that we're using 3 estimates. Okay. Quantarium, CoreLogic, and Atom. Those are the 3 leading estimates nationwide. We then display a confidence score, and some of them are going to be better than others in markets, right? So we may push towards one versus another. We also give the agent the ability to override the estimate, right? And so if you want to go in and say, I just talked to this person on the phone and they've put a ton of work into the house and I believe it's actually worth a little bit more. You can see this agent actually did this. Elijah is the agent here. And after having a discussion with this client, he put in 425 on this property. So to answer the question about how accurate they are, by having more data, by displaying 3 different values and then confidence scores for each, we are giving more options. But at the end of the day, it's a conversation starter, right? They see the value and then you see that they clicked on it and then you reach out to them to see how they felt about it. And that opens a conversation for you to put in your value as well. Love that.
I love that answer. Great answer on that one. Guys, we did put in the link there if you want to take a look at Fello and see what it looks like. If you have questions, they can answer them. You get a demo. What it really does is, like she said at the very beginning, it enhances your database so that you know who to reach out to. And it's doing the heavy lifting for you. That's what we've noticed that successful teams are using it for. One question by Peggy, I didn't know how to answer in the messaging here. Can we upload a created monthly newsletter to email?
Absolutely. So you can really build any type of email that you would like to be sent out of Fello. So in terms of the email content that's going out, you have full control over that. And then you can also update those dashboards that they click into, right? So every month you can update what they see, whether that's a video that you want to talk about market updates for January, right? And then update that every month. You can absolutely do that too.
And what major CRMs do you integrate with?
Yeah, so we've got direct native integration with FUB and Sierra. So what that means is that we're an app that lives inside both of those CRMs. Every other CRM we do have integration with as well. We use tools like Zapier or API Nation or RealSync to make that connection for you. The cool thing about Fello is I've got a whole team of incredible success managers who build any integration for you. So you don't have to stay up all night and figure this out yourself. Day one, when you join Fello, they will actually jump on a call and integrate it all for you. So you're starting off on the right.
Way better.
So whether you're with Lofty or Bold Trail, Real Geeks, Sync, KW Command, I've seen them all, and we absolutely do have a integration solution for you.
Perfect. KV Core or Bold Trail. Yep, no problem. Carrie, I may have to text you or message you because I've got a friend. He created a company called Rollout, and they allow for full integration for all CRMs once you have one through AI. So he graduated Stanford, brought his whole team AI. You need to talk to him because it would simplify the process for you guys.
Love it. Love it.
Everybody, please scan that one. Put it back up, Young. Book your demo. There's scan it. Let me know what you find. Do it right now. I'll do it with you. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. And so Exclusive for the lab coat agents community and those of you on the webinar today, we ran a big Black Friday Cyber Monday campaign that's now over. But if you come in through the QR code today, we are going to extend all of those offers to you. And so what does that look like? It's only $100 to get started. Typically that's up to $1,500 to get started, bring over all your contacts, build the integrations, enrich them, etc. But it's only $100 to get started if you come in through that QR code. And then we will enrich your entire database for free. So what does that mean? As long as you have an email, we are going to bring in the home, the property and all of that MLS, public record, mortgage data on every single one of your contacts up front for free. So that's our biggest value of the year. It doesn't get any better than that. And we're extending it for the webinar today. So definitely, if you've got anything that you're interested in that you saw today, make sure you explore it through that QR code because you'll get the deal of a lifetime.
All right. I like it. I already signed up just to test it out.
Perfect.
I like it. Thank you so much for jumping in. It's always nice when you present it because you always give me one or two new ideas that I didn't have before. I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. So thank you for that.
Of course. Well, thanks for having me, and happy holidays to everyone on the call. And I hope everybody has safe and healthy holiday.
Henan, do me a favor, scan the QR code. Yang, put it back up there. It worked for me. I went through the whole process. Just to scan that right there with your phone.
Yeah, we can also just put the link in the chat if that's possible too, so everyone can just the link right above the QR code will take you to the same place.
Let's put that link up there again. And if you can't find it, just go to Fello.
Go to Fello and tell them Lab Coat Agent sent you, and I'll take care of you.
If you're signing up, or just want a demo, just put, found it in Lab Coats. That's the easiest thing.
Yeah, that's the easiest. We'll take care of you.
Got it. Thanks, Henan. Appreciate you, buddy. Deb, I learned a lot. Thank you. Yeah, of course. Thank you, Deb. Thanks for being here. Carrie, thanks for doing this. Happy holidays, everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tristan. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye.